I'm gonna go through my everyday carry. This box is gonna go with me everywhere, and I'm gonna show you exactly why, because there's incredibly important items in here. Some of them aren't expensive, but a lot of them could be a day ender if you don't have them. And stick around to the end. I'm gonna show you the one that I think is the most important and most fishermen forget. This is How To Tuesday, brought to you by Danco on the Tom Rowland Podcast. As a guide in fresh and saltwater for over 20 years, I've put together a kit of things that I've learned that can be total day enders. This little box has a lot of things that are often inexpensive, but can keep us safe and comfortable on the water. I'm gonna go through the whole box. So this whole thing starts with the box. The box needs to be something that is waterproof. Yeti makes a nice little box that you see, it says right here on the box, it's fully submersible. So that means in any rainstorm, whatever, even if it goes in the water, your stuff's gonna be good. And there's some stuff in here that is sensitive to water, so you don't want it to get wet. An extra rod wraps. Might not think that's important at the beginning, but when you're going to take 20 rods back to the truck, if you lose your rod wrap, it's an inconvenience. I always have a packable rain jacket. Packable rain jacket could actually save your life. You definitely need a packable rain jacket. As a fishing guide, you see this happen at least a few times a day, if not more. And that is when someone is riding in the boat, they're not used to riding in the boat, and they look up or something like that, hat off. So I'll always have an extra hat for me or for one of my passengers or customers. Next, you're gonna have an extra knife. You always need an extra knife because for whatever reason on my boat right now, I've got several knives, but sometimes a knife might go in the water, and if you only have one, you may need this not only for fishing purposes, but you might need to cut trap rope off of your prop. You might need it for something other than fishing to get you back to the dock. That's super important. I always have all my paperwork in a place that's organized and easy to find. Most boats have sunscreen on it, but don't count on someone having sunscreen. Always bring your own sunscreen. Then one of the most important things, as your hat can go flying off, oftentimes people will turn around to look at something behind, their sunglasses will go flying off. So I'll always have at least 1 or 2 extra pairs of sunglasses, again, for me or for my passengers, because if someone is out there for their first time fishing and they can't see into the water with the polarized sunglasses, they're not experiencing anything. Some of the smaller items that I take, everything that we do on this particular boat is operated by power pole. So we have our trolling motor up front, we have our power poles in the back. Everything is now operated on a remote control. So if I lose this, it is bad, bad news. When you buy these things, they come with an extra. I make sure that this is charged, and I have extra live well plugs. These things are probably the cheapest safety tool that you could have on the boat. When it comes to sun protection, we talked about an extra hat, extra sunglasses, extra sunscreen, but one of the things that we use is something that will cover up our face, right? So we use these to cover up our face. So I'll always have an extra one of those. You always want a communication device and a backup communication device. On my boat, I have a VHF radio, I carry a cell phone. The cell phone could die, so the first thing that I have is a way to charge the cell phone within the boat, and so I have the right cord and a spare cord. There's one and one is none. Then, what if the battery dies? It is really important, and these things can be a great safety device to be able to get a couple of charges on your cell phone without having to plug it into the boat battery. So I'll have one of those blocks. And then we have some other items that are more fishing oriented. A lot of times you might lose a de-hooker, goes right in the water, it's gone. So I have a couple of extra de-hookers for bait. That's super important. I always have a pair of pliers on me. I wear them on my belt. I'm gonna wear those every single day, but again, something could happen. You can lose those pliers. If you lose those pliers, it becomes very, very problematic to tie the knots, cut the line like you need to, and of course get the fish off the line. So I'll have an extra pair of pliers. And then I have another pair of pliers extra that I have in the boat, and these are split ring pliers. So this has this little tooth at the end. This is the Danco split ring plier. This operates as a regular fishing plier. It has a cutter, and it also has a split ring. I have extra braid scissors. So when you're really tying special knots, sometimes you need the braid scissors, and these are really, really sharp. Now the last thing, I told you to stick around till the end, because there are a couple of pieces of safety equipment that a lot of fishermen don't take, and they realize they don't have it at exactly the wrong time. And you can go and see how I realized I didn't have this with this video of me getting this hook all the way through my hand. I got a hook all the way through my thumb. It's not a big deal. A lot of fishermen get hooks in them, but what is a big deal is if you're in a place where you can't get that hook out for some reason and the day's over, you got to go back to the emergency room where you could have taken care of it on the boat. What I like to have is a heavy duty pair of cutters that's capable of cutting the hooks that you're fishing with. So if you're just doing a little light panfish fishing, you don't need some heavy duty ones. But if you're out there offshore fishing, maybe marlin fishing or dolphin fishing or something with really big hooks, you need something that's capable of cutting the hooks that you're going to be fishing with. Finally, having a first aid kit. Now, I've always got a first aid kit on boats, and a lot of boats will have a first aid kit, but you don't know what's in the first aid kit. Things can happen, and you need a safety gear box that's capable of handling the things that you're capable of handling. So if you're a EMT, then have a box that is up to your standards. If you're just somebody that thinks you're going to get a hook in your hand or you know have a cut, you need to be able to handle that. This is one that I found that I really like. It has all the things that I need, and it's incredibly well organized. If I've got somebody that's bleeding, I'm going to go to the bleeding thing. I need a bandage, splinting, eye, and then I've just got my extra pair of gloves. And you know, luckily you can see that a lot of this stuff hasn't even been used. Hopefully that's the same way that your safety kit's gonna look. Hopefully it never gets used. But you don't wanna go out there, get a hook in your hand, not be able to cut the hook, and then not be able to take care of the wound that you have. This is my everyday carry. You can come up with your own everyday carry based upon the type of fishing that you're doing, where you're going, and I encourage you to look at the cheap things. The 5 or 6 cheap things like a boat plug, extra sunglasses, and extra hat. These are day enders. They're day enders. If you lose those things, you got to go back to the dock. It's no big deal to have a little box like this that you carry on any boat, and you can make sure that you're going to be safe and comfortable while you're out there on the water. Good luck.